Hello and welcome. You are tuned into FM Rainbow with me, Rashmi Shetty. From the corporate world into our studios, we have with us Deesha Sangani. What makes her different from the rest of her working world companions? Well, she is an author of a book with a very interesting title. It's called 90 Steps Towards Beginning of a Journey. What is this book all about? What is the secret behind the book being sold out across the globe? In fact, it has a rare feat of being a book which went out of stock before its release. We have Deesha herself in the studios to answer these questions and a lot more. Congrats, Deesha, on your new book. And tell us, what prompted you to become an author?
Thank you so much for having me here. Well, all of us as a kid, we have something in us, but depends. Do you really identify? When I was a kid, I used to have a lot of imaginations, and my imaginations, I used to write it down. So even today I have diaries where I've written all my imaginations. But as you start growing up, you start competing with the society and you start leaving up to society created rules. So I was not an exception. I was just among one of them, who was competing with the society. But then when you hit the rock bottom, you're left with no choice but to raise yourself up. So a few years back when I was going through a rough phase, I asked myself, what's my identity end of the day? I didn't have an answer for long. But one day when I was just sitting down and thinking about it, it just flashed me that your passion is your identity. So it's very important that you identify what you're passionate about in your life. And my passion is writing. So that's how I started off. I started off with my blogs, and then I have my Facebook page. And then ultimately, I did have in my mind that, I had to write a book. And that's how the overall journey of being a writer started off.
Which means you always had this intention and passion to write whatever thoughts came to you?
Yes, definitely. Even today, if you read my book, you understand and you feel that, it's just you who's reading it. It's not Deesha who's written it. So it's like how today all of us are there, So as I get thoughts, I actually write it down. So it could be that I wake up midnight and I start writing because that's how my thoughts starts flowing. And that's how I do my writing.
Okay, and can you recall, Deesha, when was the first time you sat down to write and pen down your thoughts?
Well, that was March 26, 2013 when I actually penned down my thoughts. I can in fact tell you the time as well. It was 8:35 in the night when I actually wrote.
Oh my God. Okay, so now I'm curious. What is the book all about?
Well, the book is all about short stories, motivational articles. So it is like, it caters to generation of all kind. My book can be read by anyone. It has no age limit. Anyone can read. It basically helps you to cope up with your day-to-day situation. Now, look, Rashmi, all of us have, ups and downs in a day. It could be so many things, right? So how do you cope up with all these things without these ups and downs impacting you and your goals? It is basically you have a goal in your life, you want to achieve it, you will achieve. Never let your ups and downs impact you. So my book actually helps you that way to cope up with your day-to-day living.
Okay, and these stories that you said are part of the book and the articles, these are stories which are real life, which you have an impact on you with people you know, or they are stories that you have read and heard elsewhere as well?
Well, see, it's a mixture of all. It's stories about me or people I've heard about or few things that I've read about which have really inspired me. So when you read my book, it's a mix of everything. It has stories of mine, experiences that I had, as a child, as a teenage, or as a person I am right now. And apart from that, you come across a lot of friends, family, or people across, and you learn from them. So there are stories, there's a mixture of everything.
When you have so much to say, I know it's going to be tough for you, but then can you point out 5 takeaways that the reader should definitely?
Rashmi. Okay, the 5 takeaway for the readers, which I sincerely feel, if you can take away these 5 things, it will change your life. So let me start off with the first thing, which I just love the most, Do fall in love once in a lifetime, not necessarily with a person, but with your goal. That would be one of the reasons to wake up every morning with a smile. And the second one, would be identify your passion, and your passion becomes your identity someday. My third takeaway would be never ever let your ability just go waste. That's your biggest asset in your life. All of us have ability. Just don't ignore it. My fourth takeaway would be never give up. I really don't understand, why do we give up in our life? Yes, all of us do have problems. All of us do come across so many things. Are we trying to say that the problems are much bigger than the confidence, the willpower, and the thing what God has gifted you? No. Remember, never ever give up in your life. No matter what situations you come across, never give up on your goals. That's the best part about your life. And my fifth takeaway would be have a lot of loving kindness in you. If you are loving and if you are kind enough, remember people around you also would be similar. That is like you are passing a lot of peace and love to people across. So these are my 5 takeaways for all the listeners.
Disha, as I see you, you're a very young person. You're not in your 60s or 70s to sit down and philosophically tell us what life has for us and maybe what life will give us. Could you share certain instances in your life which kind of really influenced your thinking process? Any particular book, author, person that you met? What made you go into a path which is so mature, mellow?
Well, I'm just maybe like any other girls. The only difference could be that, yes, I do take, I feel that all of us should have a maturity. It has nothing to do with our age. A person could be mature at the age of 16 and a person could be an immature at the age of 50 as well. It is all about how you go through your life. I did have my ups and downs, and what I learned is from my home, from my parents. They're very calm and composed and well balanced. So whether problems are there or happiness is there, they always taught us to be grounded and to be balanced. The way my parents are, the way I see them from my childhood, that has really helped me. And apart from that, let me be very honest. For me, my role models or the people who have inspired me are day-to-day people. I really don't say that, you cannot have a role model like one of the biggest author or the celebrity or someone. Let me tell you something. You might have someone next door, who's doing something above and beyond what they can do. For me, a role model ultimately is a person who goes above and beyond his or her capacity and does. And that inspires me. Anyone who goes above and beyond inspires me. So this one thing has just never gone out of me. And yes, I am young by heart. So that's why you always see, me smiling or you see me young, because I believe if you are young internally, you'll be young externally as well.
Okay, food for thought. A lot of food for thought, in fact. But then I'm curious to know, are you completely Bangalore bred?
Yes, I am. Completely.
And Bangalore has made you this? So have your friends influenced you big time?
Yes, they did. I have a couple of friends, who are entrepreneurs, and a couple of them who have started from nowhere to the biggest celebrity they are, and they just inspire me. They the way they do things, the way they manage, they cope up.
Today work-life balance is a big issue. Everyone's talking about it. So aren't there moments in your corporate life where you're completely tied down by stress at work? And does that reflect in your writing? So do you sit down every night to write, or are there evenings when you don't feel like writing anything and you just sit down to be with yourself?
Well, to answer you, my corporate life has never impacted me. Corporate life is there up to one time of the day. I leave it at office. And when I'm out of the office, I am Disha, who loves writing. I do writing. In fact, it's not that every day I would sit and write. It's about thoughts. It's about when I want to do writing. Writing has to come within. Writing cannot be forced, So like say, you might have passion about doing RJing. So you're so good at it. So you're doing that. So similarly, writing is something that is within you. So there are times when I just go out in the evening with my friends, I can eat, what I love doing, eating roadside pani puri and other stuff.
And where does it go? It doesn't show.
That's because I do a lot of yoga and, I balance my diet. But yeah, I'm just like any other person. I love shopping. I love eating. I love cooking. I do a lot of cooking as well. So writing is something what comes within you. So when I feel that, I want to write down, I can write it down anytime. Whether I'm traveling by flight and I know I have some thoughts going in my mind, I just write it down. Midnight, I can just wake up and I can write it down. So, corporate life and writing does not really impact me. They're two different things, and I balance them the way they need to be balanced. One thing which I would like to really share with you, I hope, it just does not surprise you. I sleep for hardly 4 hours. So, a day, yeah. This is my personal thing. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone. I've always believed that, there's always a lot of time to sleep later part of your life. So now it is time to do something that you want to do and you're passionate about doing. So, like I told you, I'm a corporate by day and a writer by night. So I do my writing during night. So I sleep for 4 hours, and I always believe that this 4 hours sleep is like a proper good sleep, and I'm still fresh when I wake up. That's one of the reasons is because I am doing what I love doing, and when you start doing that, your life becomes amazing. You have no complaints. You just create time. That's the best part about it.
Okay. See, a lot amongst us want to be writers, want to be authors. We aspire, but very few get there. So, your advice to upcoming writers and wannabe writers?
Just keep writing.
How do we know we are good enough to be published?
Well, see, let me tell you something. When I started writing, you can have 1,000 imaginations, you can do 1,000 things. So, some of them will like it, some of them might not like it. Not everyone are going to say that, oh, it's perfectly all right. No, that's not the way it's going to work out. So, for a writer, it is very important to know, keep writing. Who reads, who doesn't read, it shouldn't matter to you. You write. There are millions of people, and when you start writing, you never know whom you're going to inspire. Like when I started off my blogs, let me be very honest to you. On my fingertips, I had 9 people who would read my blogs. Okay, so that never put me down. All I knew, I wanted to write. I'm writing. I'm so happy about it. And I wrote. Well, yes, advices are free. They are on sale, but be wise enough to take what you want to take from the sale. It's the same with me. When people advise me, I do listen to them, Yes, they sometimes good also. But then I would still continue my writing. And today, look, I have published a book. So for any writers, keep writing. And yes, one thing that I would like to tell you is that I did struggle in terms of finding publishers. Because for any new author, upcoming author, it gets a little difficult. Because I don't find faults with any publishers. But what I do believe is today everyone wants someone who is well known. So what happens to upcoming people? Where do they go? Like you asked me, how do you know you write the best? You need to understand your writing is the best. I never had a thought who's going to read my book. I never thought that I need to sell out so many millions of copies. No, I only had one thing in my mind. I'm new to the market. If my books sell out, and if I can make a difference in one person's life, I would consider my writing of a book to be very successful, And if it doesn't go successful, I would take it as a learning. So just don't, feel demotivated if publishers don't give you an answer or someone says, oh my God, how have you written? There's so many people who write different things. There's so many people who think different. So you can't live up to everyone. Be yourself. That's the best part about your life, Just keep writing. That's the best.
Sane advice. And, if you could describe the entire journey of yours writing this particular book and putting it all together, how would you describe it in one word?
Amazing journey.
Okay. All I can recall and put in place here is Henry David Thoreau, who said that what you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. So, Disha, you seem like somebody who is perfect as an example for this thought of Thoreau.
Thank you so much, Rashmi. That's so nice about you. Thank you so much.
Any parting thought that you'd like to leave our listeners with?
All I could tell is that life is beautiful. It's a beautiful journey. Just live the way you want to live your life. And trust me, today you could be just one among million people's crowd. Tomorrow you will be one standing and the million people who are going to look at you.
So find the spark, keep shining. Thank you, Disha, and thank you for being the star that you are. Continue
So much.
inspiring. Pleasure
Definitely.
talking to you, and thank you so
Same
much
here.
for taking time to be here.
Thank you.